Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Pauper Premier League, sponsored by CoolStuffInc.com and Wizards of the Coast. I'm Kendra Smith, aka the Maverick Girl, back once again from our very first match. And we have with us actually one of our players from the first match, Emma Partlow.
Hello, everybody.
How's it going, Emma?
Yeah, not bad. Bit tired, but pretty good. I've got coffee with me, so it's like, for context for the Americans, it's like 3 a.m. here, so it's quite late.
Absolutely. So how did you feel about that last matchup, Emma?
Felt a little bit rough, to be honest. It sounded like Brian just had it all. Like, no matter what I played, he had an answer to it.
Yeah, he really did. He just removal spell after removal spell after removal spell, and that's kind of just how the mono black deck plays.
Like, you can't like get mad at that. If he has it, he has it. It's also a bit rough that my deck is just full of X1s and Defile and Disfigure, just like super good.
Absolutely.
And Crypt Rats, because
and the Evincar's Justice, and even those Channer's Edicts. Yeah, Witches. So just, he definitely played around with those Witches a little bit. We saw he actually had that Witches in those opening hand. So we were actually kind of watching him, on turn 2, not playing into like a counterspell or something. So very heads up plays there. But we've got Brian once again going up against
through the gauntlet.
Astro Jeskai, or Jeskai midrange, however you want to call it. I know you're, familiar with the Pauper format. You like to play it, I think, at more of a local level as opposed to like on Magic Online or something like that. So you're a little bit on the up and up, but have you been seeing so much of like these Jeskai decks where you are in your local playground?
Not really. I've seen some like 4-color Astrolabe decks, like 4-color piles, basically, and they seem really good. Probably a little too good, maybe, but
so you're probably a little familiar with kind of how this one plays. Might just be a little bit different from what you have seen, but it's still going to be probably similar enough that you can kind of guesstimate what's going to go on here. So what do you think? You think who do you think is going to feel a little bit better favored here? You think it's probably going to be Brian's mono black deck, or is it going to be Adams with all of his nonsense going on?
I'm kind of going for Adam with nonsense because I really like Glint Hawk as a card.
Yeah.
Glint Hawk's really sweet. Just seems really good with Astrolabe. So
there's definitely a lot of play.
Jeskai.
A lot of, heck yeah. There's a lot of play back and forth with Adams listing these Jeskai lists. And we saw that a lot before with like the old Monarch decks that it kind of was inspired by, and even like Tron decks and things like that. These decks just kind of do a lot of like, sometimes what we might call, they just do a lot of nothing, and then suddenly they win. and that's pretty good way, I think, to describe it. So it's I'm very interested to see what we have going on here. There's a few things to note. Brian is running Disfigures in addition to Defiles. Those Disfigures are not really going to do so well against those Kor Skyfishers.
This is true.
So
they will definitely come out game 2, I think.
Yeah, probably. But even then, it still does pretty solid against the Glint Hawks, the Archaeomancers, and the Mulldrifters even. Each of these creatures have only 2 toughness. So it could go any directions from what I can tell here.
I'm quite excited to see how it plays out. It might play out a little slow to begin with because it sounds like both strategies just durdle a little bit, but there'll come a point where they'll just clash and then we'll just see what happens.
I mean, mono black control is actually a little bit more of a mid-range deck in its own right, but I think Brian is definitely playing a lot more of a control version of mono black control, so to speak. So he's definitely going to be a lot of, sitting around, not doing a whole lot of very much, just picking off some creatures. But then Adam's not going to be doing very much of anything either. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. It looks like we're kind of almost ready. We're still waiting just a very tiny bit here, but we're almost there. So hang tight, guys. We've got this coming very soon, and it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very epic. So Emma, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know the community here isn't as familiar with you as maybe some of the other players here.
This is true. So my name's Emma. I'm a modern writer for Hipsters of the Coast. I write modern articles every week, basically going through budget decks, strategies, tournament reports. If it's modern, I'm covering it basically. So if you're into modern, I would highly recommend checking it out.
And you're also on a podcast, are you not?
Correct. I'm also on the 10-1-4 Modern podcast as well. I am on there on a monthly basis. I'm on a rotating co-hosting role with Ari Lax. So every month I'm on there. We talk very similar, like budget, mid-tier, like the middle ground of modern. So not the super competitive, but not the super budget, like the sweet spot in the middle. So we talk about some really sweet brews. Oh yeah, modern's just full of good stuff at the moment with Horizons. So like there's a Mythic Championship this weekend, which is in Barcelona, which is modern. So I'm really excited to see what happens.
Our very own Brian DeMars here tonight is actually at that event. He's in Barcelona, which is why we're having him for 3 matches in a row. Go Brian.
A trooper.
Absolutely. Though, in his own words, he is a little more excited to be playing this. He's obviously been to a lot of Mythic Championships, but not so many Pauper leagues like this. So
this Pauper's great.
Absolutely. So we're just gearing up here. We got just a few more seconds, hopefully. All right, I'm just checking for where we're at here. Sounds like we're almost there. So hopefully we're there in just a second. But so let's go take a quick look at see what we've got on. Oh no, it sounds like we're ready and good to go. I was about to say, we can take a look at the matches after this, but it sounds like we're good to go. So let's just take it on down and go right to the. Go to the matches, go to the booth, and see what kind of action we got going on. And it looks like Brian has already started. Brian had a mulligan down to a 6-lander, 6 cards in hand, rather.
Say 6-lander. Why would he keep a 6-lander?
The madman. So, but Brian did keep a 2-lander with plenty, bit of removal here. He's got 2 Cuombajj Witches, and that's going to be huge here against dealing with Glint Hawks and so what's probably going to happen now is Brian is going, or Adam rather, who, for the record, you may know him, you Pauper grinders out there, as Condescend, who has put up some pretty good numbers in those Pauper challenges and Pauper leagues. So looks like he's running out the Seeker of the Way. I feel like, personally, would have maybe wanted to see the Prophetic Prism instead, so he could lead up and hold up that Scred to get that Cuombajj Witches out of the way. But this also kind of forces some removal out of Brian's hand.
The million of copies of removal that Brian has in his deck.
Yeah, absolutely. So
and the Disfigure in his hand as well.
Absolutely. So, but that Disfigure isn't going to do all that much if he gets down that Kor Skyfisher. But I think it's going to end up seeing some play up against a Glint Hawk in our very near future. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Yeah. So what we're going to see now is Adam's going to pick up the Prophetic Prism with the Glint Hawk. On its following turn, regardless of what happens here, Adam is then going to replay the Prophetic Prism and play out the Kor Skyfisher, picking up the Prophetic Prism once again. So, obviously, Brian went ahead, disfigured the Glint Hawk. And
Double Witches is going to be so good.
Absolutely. But
so good.
Adam has the answer to that. He's got the Scred. But he may or may not play it. I'm very curious to see what he's going to actually play this next turn. What do you think you would do? Do you think he would go?
I'd play the Witches. I'd just go for it.
Well, obviously that's what Brian's doing. We're talking about Adam.
Okay.
Because he could go Prophetic Prism into Kor Skyfisher, or he can go Prophetic Prism into Scred.
I think I like Scredding here. Because doing 2 damage to your stuff is just, you don't know the Scred obviously, but let's go with Skyfisher. Okay.
Right, because 2 Witches cannot kill this Kor Skyfisher.
Sure.
So, And
There's the Disfigure. Now it does.
But we found the Disfigure. So we're gonna get there. And then Brian can also go for the Chittering Rats and put a card back on Adam's deck, which is going to mean that Prophetic Prism is basically not really picking any cards up, really. It's drawing an extra card, but it's basically drawing the card that Adam normally would have drawn otherwise.
Yeah.
If there wasn't a Chittering Rats in play.
Just puts him back so much.
Absolutely. But at the same time, it's basically putting Brian down with no cards in hand, and Adam has a full grip, basically. The thing is, obviously, we know that Adam doesn't really have a whole lot of gas, but Brian doesn't know that. So it's very interesting to see what we have happen from here. It's entirely possible that, there's going to be an Ash Barrens. So what I would imagine Adam's going to pull out is the mountain. Yep, there it is. So now... Right, so he basically put back a land into his deck and drew one out from his deck. So now he's holding up. He's got a counterspell. He's got a scred. He's got ways to deal with a lot of things. Exactly. So there's going to probably be another Chittering Rats trying to come down here, and Adam can just easily counterspell.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what's going to happen here.
Snap counter.
Yep. And then what we're probably going to see on this next turn is... So obviously Brian's just going to go in for the attack. Might as well, right? And we're probably going to 4 damage. So what we're going to see happen here is the scred is probably going to go in on one of those Cuombajj Witches. And take that out so that Brian can't go witches, take out the Glint Hawk. And we're probably going to see the scred happen and the Prophetic Prism. And we found an Astrolabe too.
Very nice.
We're going to see scred hits, and then it's going to be Adam holding up the counterspell against whatever Brian may have here. Now Brian has to play the swamp as opposed to holding up the land in hand, just because. Well, he's got to get that mana and to make sure that he can play his Changer's Edict from the graveyard. So.
Ooh, another Skyfisher. Very nice.
Finding Skyfisher there is huge.
It's big.
Yeah.
It's a nice top deck.
Yeah, it really is here. At this point, it's definitely starting to feel like... Adam is very, very firmly in the driver's seat.
He's accruing so much value. It's just insane.
Yeah, so we're going to see, he's not going to play the Astrolabe again, but he's going to hold it up. And Brian's going to drop that Bojuka Bog. It's not really very much in Adam's graveyard that he really cares about here. Obviously, you could get some value from Archaeomancer, picking up a counterspell or something like that, or even a scred. Scred would be a fantastic hit. He's got another counterspell.
Gross.
Amazing.
This is going to end very quickly.
Absolutely. There's definitely a very, very real clock on the board here.
Three counterspells.
Another counterspell. And Adam already used one, so that's all 4 of his counterspells.
Jeez.
Yeah, this is definitely going to start ending very, very quickly.
I think Adam has this one locked up.
Pretty much at this point. No matter what happens, Brian can try to start throwing kill spells down.
Even Edict doesn't really do a lot.
Exactly. There's just not really a whole lot that Brian can do to stop Adam's onslaught right now. And there's another land. So the land's not really doing much, but again, I don't think Adam's even gonna bother playing it, just so he can act like he's got more cards in his hand than he, really does. And there's a Chittering Rats, which
it's gonna get
Adam is just kind of gonna laugh at that a little bit.
Yeah.
Nope. You don't get it.
Get those prowess triggers.
Yeah. Please. Attack into this Seeker of the Way.
Yeah. Man, Seeker of the Way was a great downshift.
Absolutely.
So good.
It was really funny too. I don't know how much you really paid attention to the metagame at first when it was first spoiled. You basically saw there were two cards that everybody had their eyes on. It was Seeker of the Way and Lead the Stampede. Obviously, Lead the Stampede, everybody looked at that and went, that just slots so easily into elves. It's not even funny. And it also really kind of helps decks like Slivers, and people thought maybe Stompy. Obviously didn't see very much play in Stompy, but did see quite a bit of play in Elves and Slivers. Depending on how you say it, obviously Elves, it was a slam dunk. It completely changed the deck for the format. But it's debatable how well it impacted Slivers. Sure. But Seeker of the Way, everybody looked at that and went, that one's going to be played. It's super so good. It's so powerful, but it didn't find a home for a while. And eventually finally started seeing occasional rare play in the Boros Monarch decks, but also saw a significant amount of play once the heroic decks started coming into play. So very exciting. And obviously it's here to stay. It's in this Jeskai list now, and we're just going to keep seeing it for a while here. It's fantastic.
So good.
But Brian is just on fumes right now. He is not going to get there.
A Mulldrifter as well, just in case.
Yeah. And Brian has no cards in his hand, so that's just going to be all she wrote for Brian. Yeah. What aggro is there? Stompy, question from the chat. Stompy actually did very well in this last challenge. I believe the finals of this most recent Magic Online challenge were Stompy versus Mono White Heroic. I don't have the challenge results right up in front of me, so I don't remember exactly which list won, but it was definitely one of those two decks, and so very aggressive matchups can still get going here. Looks like we're having just a small issue showing off the sideboardings there. So what did you think of that match or that game there, Emma?
I think Adam just accrued so much value in so quick time. It's just insane. Just like just drawing cards, getting value off Skyfishers, and just drawing all the answers. Like you had your squares, you had like 3 counterspells, you had a Mulldrifter just in case. Like backup Mulldrifter in case you want more cards. Like it just seemed like Brian just struggled to get out of the gates a little bit.
Yeah.
Adam
cards
just
on top of cards on top of cards. Fantastic. Yeah. And I think that Brian definitely struggled a little bit to find some resources. And you all may not know this, but when I first seriously got into the Pauper format, my very first ever deck that I really picked up was Mono Black Control. I actually love the heck out of this deck. I love the idea. I was coming pretty hot off of Theros Block Standard. Yeah. And I really, really liked playing Grey Merchant of Asphodel, and I wanted to keep doing it when we had this. When I saw that we had this cool deck in Pauper that could let me do it at a competitive, in a competitive manner for a very affordable rate, I wanted to keep on top of it. And I was very excited to do so. So it looks like we're back again. Yikes.
Ouch.
Brian's hand got a mulligan in that hand, and we can't see that 7th card, but I mean, even without seeing the full 7, that is a fantastic hand that I would keep every time.
StuffInc.com is your home for everything.
What?
So, sorry about that. So,
that was premature.
So, looks like we are gearing up to go here. Brian's hand looks very good. It looks like he did keep that exact 6 that we were looking at before.
It's a good 6.
It really is. And then Adam's got the whole, Preordain set up. He doesn't really have any artifacts to go off of these Glint Hawks, but what he does have is obviously he can Preordain to find something. If he doesn't find something from that, then he can always evoke the Mulldrifter. So he definitely has some good options and some good card selection to try and make this hand work, though it is a little bit risky. So, and there is an Archaeomancer too. So,
more value.
Yeah. So even if, so we can go Mulldrift. Even if we don't find the artifacts, we can go Mulldrifter. And evoke it, draw some cards. If we still don't find something from that, then we can go Archaeomancer into like the Ponder or Preordain. I think in this case, I would probably look to go for the Ponder because I would see more cards that way, but both options are also pretty good. And Brian brought in Wrench of Mind, which is very interesting considering that Adam is playing artifacts.
It's playing a lot of artifacts as well. It's got prisms and astrolabes.
Mm-hmm. So looks like we are going to see that Wrench Mind if I see Brian hovering over his cards correctly here.
It's a good hit though. Well, not too great with Archaeomancer, I guess, but...
Well, so what we're probably just going to end up seeing is he's probably just... Adam's probably just going to lose the two Glint Hawks.
Yeah.
There's not really much reason to keep them here with the hand looking like this.
Yeah, they're not doing a whole much, are they?
No. So what we're just going to see is there... Oh.
Very nice.
Oh, wow. Ephemerate.
That's a spicy meatball.
Yep, absolutely. So for those who may not know, Ephemerate is a 1-mana instant card. Exile target creature and that you control and return to the battlefield. And then it has Rebound, so then you can follow it up the next turn by casting it again. So what Adam is probably going to look to do here, he's not really going to be able to do it this next turn, but he can go evoke Mulldrifter and then cast Ephemerate to bring it back on to the battlefield fully and have drawn instead 2 cards, draw 4 cards. Which is absolutely fantastic.
If that isn't value, I don't know what is, because that's just crazy.
It's fantastic. So what I think we're going to see happen here, if I was in Adam's spot, I would probably be looking to go Kor Skyfisher. No, he's just going to go for the Mulldrifter. I would probably try and pick up, play the Kor Skyfisher, pick up an island and hold up a counterspell. I think that would have been one of the better, kind of lines to hold things up. Now we have an Ancient Den, and there is another Mulldrifter. So assuming that Brian doesn't hold up mana for the Defile, we might very well see evoke Mulldrifter, and cast Ephemerate.
Right.
Now we're just waiting on them to make a move here a little bit. I wouldn't really fault Brian for trying to go for another Chittering Rats here. Obviously, he's already seen we've gone through 2 Mulldrifters, so he might not be expecting the 3rd here. And there's nothing, there's no Astrolabes, no Prisms. So it's really hard to go, Glint Hawk or Kor Skyfisher, pick those up again.
And the 2 Glint Hawks were discarded as well with the Wrench Mind, so...
Absolutely. So it might actually be in his best interest here to try and go for that Chittering Rats, especially now he does have the Defile mana held up.
Yeah.
So I am very interested to see if Adam's going to get blown out or not. But it may even come down to the fact that even if even if Adam does get blown out, so to speak, it may just happen that it doesn't matter anyway, because even if he's not maybe getting the value that the Ephemerate would bring, he's still going to draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
But it looks like Adam's leading in instead with the Archaeomancer to try and get looks like the Ponder. Because it was Preordain and it was Preordain and then Ponder. So yep, he's getting the Ponder back. So we're gonna see a sweet old Sign in Blood here. Oh wow.
Nice.
Duress, Defile, Echoing Decay.
Duress is nice. I got ruined by Duress in my game with Brian.
Yeah, you sure did. And we are going to see the Duress come down. So Brian is going to take that Ephemerate, and he is probably not going to hesitate.
That is huge.
Yeah, that's a really big take. But even still, Adam just has a handful, straight full of gas.
Yeah.
So I think even if the Ephemerate goes away, there's still a lot of play here going on. And yes, the Ephemerate was the card taken.
Yeah.
I think Adam had a very slow start. He's been very much struggling with his lands.
It's very unfortunate that he hasn't picked up any artifacts either for his Glint Hawks or his Skyfishers.
But now he did.
Now he did. Speak of the devil.
There it is.
He's got a spread to back it up as well.
What are we going to see here? Are we going to see a Seeker of the Way? Are we going to see a Skyfisher come down? We might even just see the Counterspell get held up in case of any counter magic or anything like that. Or removal spells, rather. Adam may be trying to just prepare himself ahead of time, which it looks like that's what's going to happen. But Brian's coming prepared with the second Duress.
Yeah.
And so Adam's just going to keep feeling the hurt.
Gotta take that spread.
But then Brian just has not only is he getting off or getting the action with this Duress here, but he's just got removal on top of removal. So
he's got answers to everything.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough for Adam to get back into it, I think.
Yeah. But he still has a lot of play here. So what we might just see is we're probably going to see, Kor Skyfisher is going to come down, pick up Arkham's Astrolabe. Yeah. We're going to replay Arkham's Astrolabe. And then, depending on whether or not it draws a land, we're probably going to see the Ponder as well.
Yeah.
If there is another land, then we might see Seeker of the Way here.
Oh, it's another Ephemerate.
That's an Ephemerate.
That's what you want.
It is.
That value.
Because you then cast it with the Archaeomancer, and it just gets back another Ephemerate.
Yeah.
But with all of this removal here, it's going to be tough.
Man, Defile is such a good card.
Now, this is interesting. This is a really sweet play, because what's going to happen here is Adam's going to go for the Ephemerate on the Kor Skyfisher now, in response to the Defile, and Brian can't do anything about that. Because the Echoing Decay is only -2/-2, so it would not kill the Kor Skyfisher. Adam kind of starting to feel like he's back in it a little bit here, even still being stuck on that 4 mana. But Brian just found another Sign of Blood and 2 Wrench Mines.
Oh,
that's a big
goodbye
deal.
Your hand.
But will he do it? Because he knows that there's going to be another Ephemerate coming down, so he may want to hold up some mana for removal to deal with that Archaeomancer.
He knows of the Astrolabe as well, so...
Yeah. But he definitely has some very strong opportunities here to just absolutely shred Adam's hand. And it looks like he's going to go in for the Echoing Decay, get rid of the Archaeomancer, and follow it up with an Edict.
Clean up the board. Keep it clean.
Mm-hmm. So that Ephemerate is just going to come back, and nothing's going to happen with it.
Yeah.
In fact, it actually stays exiled because it couldn't be cast.
There's another Astrolabe in Adam's hand.
Mm-hmm.
And a Relic.
Relic is okay here.
Protects Wrench Mind, I guess. But
sure.
Not super.
But he's going to end up actually playing it. I don't think he's expecting 2 more Wrench Minds to be showing up. I know if I were in Adam's spot, that is definitely not what I would be expecting to see right now. So, obviously, Brian's just probably going to go for the double Wrench Mind. So, what we're probably going to end up seeing, we're probably going to see Adam discard Arkham's Astral. Oh, wow. And there's a Defile there, too. So, we're going to see Adam is going to discard Arkham's Astrolabe. And then he's also going to discard Ponder and Seeker of the Way, if I had to guess, allowing him to hold up and keep that Mulldrifter so he can keep getting some extra cards in that mix while still having a body, because now he does have the 5 mana to go in for it. And this is just how this matchup kind of plays a lot of times. It's a lot of back and forth between one another. And it looks like Adam did remove Brian's graveyard, so there's no risk of a Chain of Seed coming back.
Yeah.
And we have
Trinket Mage
and the Kor Skyfisher, and Brian just found another land. So at this point, it's very much looking in Adam's favor.
Adam looked so behind to begin with, but now he's just pulled out of a hat.
Exactly, and that's how these mid-range decks go. They just do a whole lot of nothing, and then they just win.
They just snowball.
Yeah. And they just take over. Once they get the mana set up and once they get the draw engine going, then they just swarm the board, and usually with a significant number of flyers, and then just go in with the for some good damage as a result of that. And Adam didn't pick up the Astrolabe there. He went and picked up Mulldrifter. That's very exciting. And Brian's just drew Night's Whisper, which is very good, but very risky. He's drawing 2 cards, which is great for him, but he is losing 2 life. And with no ways in his deck to gain life back, it definitely puts him on an even further clock and furthers Adam's game plan, whether Brian knows it or not. So we're going to Trinket Mage come down here, and it's going to go find an Arkham's Astrolabe. Yep.
Yeah.
And if we see another land, then we're probably going to see another Trinket Mage come down. But we saw, of course, Skyfisher. Skyfisher's still really good here.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to see Skyfisher is going to actually pick up an Astrolabe this time. Not really a Mulldrifter that can be picked up after all. So why not pick the Mana Rock that draws you some cards as well?
Yeah. Disfigure's not going to do too much, fortunately.
And that's pretty much going to be all she wrote here, I think. We're not quite there yet, but we're pretty much there.
Adam's just got so much value going. He's drawn so many cards.
Exactly.
Brian just can't keep up.
Yeah. So Adam's going to swing out with the Trinket Mage and the Kor Skyfisher. Brian may block the Trinket Mage here, but he's still going to take 2 damage. And unless he finds the right spell, that's just going to be it.
They're not going to be it.
No. So at this point, Adam's just going to win it. So
quite
we're
convincingly as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is like we said, once the Jeskai deck or like Boros or Monarch or whatever deck you want to go with, once that deck has the advantage, it has the board state, that's it. It's done. Yeah. The deck just starts steamrolling and goes really hard,
and there we
really
go.
fast. And there it is. Adam takes match 2 and over Brian DeMars. So, Emma, what did you think of that whole match?
Game was insane. It's just amazing how much value the Jeskai deck just accrues just from picking up Astrolabes and pondering and then Mulldrifting. It sees so many cards, and even like a mono black control deck where you can control the resources a little bit. It's just Brian can keep up because he's just drawing so many cards.
Yeah, it was definitely pretty crazy.
The value is just insane.
Yeah, it really was. So with that, Adam is now 1-0. You, Emma, are 0-1. Hopefully that'll change in the near future. You got some great matchups yourself coming up here. And Brian is now 1-1, and Brian has one more match to go before we send him on his way to the Mythic Championship.
Before he wins at Mythic Championship in Barcelona.
Exactly. So at this point, we're going to pass it off. It's going to be Chris Van Meter is going to show up. Good old CVM himself is going to show up, and he's going to rock some burn. And it's going to be very, very exciting here. And so what we're going to have you, Emma, are going to be commentating with Adam Yurchick, Condescend. So you got, we're going to see, talk to him about his match and see what he thought. Very exciting. So we're going to take a moment and here's some words from our sponsors, CoolStuffInc.com and obviously Wizards of the Coast. Thank you so much to them. And we'll be back very shortly. Catch you then.